Over the past 150 years, few inventions changed the world. Phones, cars, computers, and the next big thing will be humanoids. I started Humanoid to free people from dangerous, monotonous, repetitive tasks by building most reliable, safe, and helpful humanoid robots.
Good to see you. Nice to meet you.
Good to see you.
Yeah, all good?
Nice to meet you, yeah. I'm Artem Sokolov, the founder and CEO of Humanoid.
Basically just learning effectively the entire day. So let's knock at it this week. If we don't properly account for this here.
Probably not the moment to shoot content. One of the actual first things that attracted me to this vision that Artem presented to me is that this company is not just meant to be here for the show, it's meant to create products, it's meant to go to market as soon as possible to add the most value that we can to our customers. 3, 2, 1.
It really takes a whole company, and Artem's up at the top, setting the pace and setting the vision, and all of us are really just trying to keep up.
You need to have a product which you love, and you need to have goosebumps from this type of product.
Humanoids are still in the infancy of their development. Every week right now there is something new coming out that builds on what came before.
We are experiencing an enormous market pressure at the moment. We always have to deliver more than our competitors did when they were at our stage. Everything that was 1 year ago, breakthroughs, marketing materials, external demos, capabilities, AI progress, is already old news now.
Of course, a lot of pressure, a lot of energy, a lot of time, but when you really like what you are doing, you can do it 24/7.
We are putting every day 200%. The team is highly committed. We are really not enough for the speed and the amount of work we have.
So pressure is high, but also confidence is high.
It actually has been a very transformative experience to see this project start. The sheer passion of our founder and taking that and translating this into how we design in terms of hardware, software, AI, something that will come to life to actually serve the customers that we intended to.
We're one of the only players in the market that has both a wheelbase system and a biped, and our strategic entry point is into industrial use cases because those are ripe for disruption right now. They are semi-structured environments, pretty repeatable workflows, and a very scalable deployment strategy where you can send multiple robots into one location that need to perform these same tasks.
Our first robot has just been brought up, and now you need to build the software. AI is essentially an art of building highly adaptable systems that can perform very complex tasks and then can learn from data as opposed to being specifically instructed how to do something. And the power of AI comes from this learning bit. It is possible to program a robot to do one thing, or maybe 10 things, but you cannot program it to do 10,000 things or 1,000,000 simply because you don't have enough engineers. And that's where the learning bit comes in. You just somehow bring a lot of relevant data about the problem and build a system that is able to learn from this data and generalize from that to perform the tasks you are interested in, as well as possibly some other tasks. And the hope is that eventually we'll reach true generalizability in a way that we humans are able to generalize.
We're mainly targeting 3 kinds of businesses. The first type is businesses that do retail, that have warehouses, are in logistics, 3PLs. They have distribution centers, and we go there and we do mainly material handling as a first step. And we also do some higher level of complexity of operations. So we pick items from within totes, we go and place things inside boxes, and then later there is a transition to higher dexterity operations. The second category has to do with automotive manufacturing, and they have their own warehouses or logistics centers that we go in in and then first do the logistics operations, but we transition into higher dexterity operations that have to do with assembly, visual or haptics checks. The third category is more with electronics manufacturing, and for those we still do material handling but also are intending to go into assembly operations, but given the smaller scale of those objects, these are a little bit further down the line.
We've absolutely chosen some of the top firms in the world to partner with at an early stage. They employ very large workforces over a pretty diverse geographical base. Already they're running into labor shortages that they want solutions for today. If we can develop effective partnerships with them early on, there's really a scaled long-term win-win for both of us.
How we use these prototypes to create the maturity of the product that we need to launch goes like this. So we first use our alpha prototypes to go into the customer facilities, do the first proof of concept projects. Then once we hit the KPIs that we want to see, then we come back, we reiterate on the AI capabilities, on the hardware in order to create something better in terms of hardware, software, and AI. We bring it back to the customer facilities, we improve on our KPIs, add more use cases, and then we go in the facilities and then work on an at least 16 hours a day basis to prove that these robots can perform as well as humans in all of these use cases that we're working on.
The reason we're here is to transition the robot from the lab to the line. In the next 12 months, we will move from a single robot operation within a proof of concept deployment such as this one to a multi-robot deployment as part of a pilot deployment in a live manufacturing facility doing real work for our customers.
We've just recently brought up Alpha Wheelbase, which is our primary workhorse. At the same time, we are in the process of bringing up our biped prototype. It has legs. Changing from a wheelbase to a bipedal certainly has its own unique set of challenges.
Okay, jump limit test. What's that? Oh, 200 hertz, okay.
Vancouver is mostly hardware focused. The arms and the bipedal legs are all initially designed in Vancouver, and all of the testing in terms of controls, electrical wire routing, all of that happens here.
The team here in Vancouver has some of the finest engineering technicians, robotics prototypers, and manufacturing skills that I've ever seen.
We're local manipulation, so that means we do like limbs and arms and legs. Boston comes from the people that a lot of core battery electronics and like power electronics and stuff, and the AI part of it comes from London.
Everyone essentially is our customer as a mechanical team. We are here to enable them to be successful.
I came to Vancouver to deploy our first policy on this version of the robot. We have this alpha biped version without arms and heads, so we basically have the torso with the legs. After that, we'll put up some arms and heads to have a full biped that will be happening in London. There will be some hiccups, of course, there to understand where there are some bugs, or we need to actually just learn the limits of the platform itself.
We're running walking policy, and then this robot, this is the first time that we are running this policy. This is kind of, first walking like a baby steps.
When we add legs, we need to consider things like dynamic equilibrium. So this is your ability to shift off balance and dynamically adjust your control to stay in balance.
You need a whole body controller that can make the biped move while maintaining its stability, or make it perform various manipulation tasks, all while not falling over.
It's a power distribution board. Yeah, probably trigger the max current. We had a weird walking motion, and then after that, I smelled smoke and robot.
It smells fine.
It's fine?
I mean, all I can smell is the cookie I'm eating, but...
We've been doing let's say, all the preliminary steps that were needed to then prepare the deployment of our policy. And today we are actually literally deploying the policy for the first time.
Go. Yes. Great.
We can do a quick retrain, like a partial retrain in like less than, an hour, a couple hours. And then a full thing is now less than 24 hours. So the iteration speed is rapidly increasing.
we have to design the robot legs like a human leg, powerful, but very, very light. Because if you add 1 gram of weight to the foot, then you will put a lot load on the hip joint because it has a long lever arm. Okay, sidewise left. Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
We're going to run one motion that Lolo control guys has generated. So that kind of frog motion confirm the actuator they are operating safely, and then we can focus on the policy side, not on the hardware side. We will ship it with the 2 arms without head, yes. The main perception system we have for this robot is on head. You have cameras there, so for walking, for navigation. And then in London, they already have 1 head ready.
Last December, we all got together and sort of started building out what we saw as the product, the robot we wanted to make.
We have seen what doesn't work, and it allows us to avoid hundreds of millions costly mistakes, and we go straight to real products and real robots.
This is just the start, in my opinion. With the team that we have, sky is the limit, honestly.
We didn't have any actual 3D models, no CAD, no engineers actually assigned to start work until end of January. So less than 10 months, and we've gone from the first drawings, the very first designs, to a fully functional humanoid robot with a wheeled base that is actually doing work in the real world and helping people. And 3 months later, we now have the biped robot that you're seeing that's doing dynamic walking, dynamic manipulation, and plenty more planned in the near days. It is unbelievable.
Humanoid robotics has benefited greatly from large language model revolution. And as a result of this progress, what happened was that large language models that can understand images and videos and reason about what's happening in those images and videos have been developed. And this is basically the fuel that is powering the current humanoid revolution.
We are using VLA models for manipulation, and when we target a new POC right now, we are not making any development that is specific to the POC. So we're always building POC after POC, this portfolio of capabilities, so they will all build on each other until eventually we achieve this dream of any new task. Essentially, we just throw the robot at it, we prompt it, do this, and we relax and watch it happen.
For the B2B industrial partners that we're in discussion with, they can't afford for us to be over-promising and under-delivering. Humanoid isn't the loudest publicly, but we want to develop the reputation to be the team that does what they say they're going to do.
We need to be very fast, but also we need to be very smart, because in hardware, each mistake can stop you months or years. And in one hand, we are very fast, but on the other hand, we are very smart and careful with our solutions and decisions.
And so while we know we're on the right path, there's this constant feeling that we really just need to move faster.
There is a race, and the race is on.
How are you doing in that race?
We are doing very well.
We filmed a video where we have separated the environment into 2 sets. We have the warehouse and fulfillment environment, as well as the biped service environment. What makes this particular production more complex than others is that we have multiple systems that need to work together seamlessly and autonomously.
So we got this uninterrupted sequence of multiple robots doing work together, being orchestrated by a shared AI system, exactly the same way as we plan to deploy this technology in practice.
The Kinetic framework is our full stack, end-to-end humanoid fleet management system. And the reason this is important is we are not selling a single robot into our end customers' locations. We're selling fleets of robots. This fleet management system needs to coordinate all the robots to ensure that there's a consistent amount of utilization of the fleet and minimize the downtime. And while the robot is obviously a key ingredient, it's the fleet of robots that is really going to unlock the commercial success of the company.
You need to build a robot that you can bring into some industrial environment and make it a part of some complex workflow that has a lot of this low-level behaviors in some sequence, and the robot has to be adaptable to things going wrong and like being able to trigger some recovery behaviors, or maybe it ran out of battery, in which case we need to swap it for another robot. So it's actually a fleet orchestration problem.
The journey looks like this. We go through the alpha phase. That's an MVP or R&D solution that is like good enough so we can get feedback from our customers and understand, are we on the right trajectory? The alpha phase doesn't consider things like mass manufacturing or optimization for cost or reliability or service, but beta will, and teams are starting to pivot out of alpha mode and into the beta mindset. So we're aiming for that big mass scale end game.
As of January, we have completed 6 POCs and we have secured 30,000 non-binary pre-orders. And to our knowledge, this is the largest commercial success in the humanoid robotics industry.
It's been very inspiring to have so much success at the POCs thus far, but our next iteration on the hardware is our production intent hardware. So starting in Q3 this year, that's our low rate initial production units that will ultimately go out into extended pilots, and those turn into revenue generating units early next year. And that is the start of scaling the real commercial fleet out into the real world. On the AI side, we've done enough to be able to succeed at all these different POCs, but now we need to build out the infrastructure to enable what we're calling the capability factory. And the key thing there is that this will enable first our company, then third-party integrators, and then ultimately our customers to be able to teach our robots new skills themselves. So instead of adding new use cases to the robots linearly, we can now add them exponentially.
Close your eyes and remember where you were 1 year ago. Almost 1 year ago, we had our first strategy meeting.
Honestly, the initial plan seemed nearly impossible, especially the hardware schedule. The hardware team didn't think they could pull it off, but then they did. We didn't think we'd be able to pull it off, getting the robot walking as quickly as we did, but then we did. We didn't know that we would be able to get into the first POC after assembling alpha as quickly as we did, but then we did. And we've been basically just hitting home run after home run after home run. We knew we would do well. We knew we would move fast, but honestly, we moved faster even than I expected we would.
Q3 is going to be a really exciting moment because it's going to be when we showcase to the world the first result from our beta phase. And that beta phase is really a production intent unit. The investors, our customers, and general public can get a real sense of what this is going to look like long term. And to grow the size of the robot fleet from tens to hundreds to thousands to hundreds of thousands over time.
The vision is super clear. We're not just creating tech, we're creating something to actually enter people's facilities and lives and change them.
We are in the right time, in the right place, and we have a very hungry team to build the best humanoids ever in the world.
Our focus is on the right things. We'll quickly go to market, start delivering value, and make the world much better than it currently is.
We're gonna keep growing, we're gonna do much better, and you just have to wait and see.